Good morning, everybody. Okay, we are ready to get started, so if everyone would grab a seat, we are going to start our program. Okay, everyone please grab a seat. And where's Bob? Because he was going to lead the Pledge of Allegiance. There he is. Oh no, that's Ed.
Can I have all of the Colorado Senior Lobby Directors come on up here and sit up here? And those that are will be elected into the board. I know that we are in the chapel, but it doesn't mean that you can't come up to the front and sit. So I'm inviting everybody to come on up. You'll be able to hear everybody better. You'll be able to see better. So don't be afraid. Come on up and get yourself comfortable. Come on. I know it didn't work very well. It never does. So, where is? Can I ask all of you to make sure that you silenced your phones, please, before we get started, or turn them off? Okay, I'm Jeanette Hensley. I'm one of the board of directors for Colorado Senior Lobby. But before we really get started a little bit better, I also wanted to, again, remind everybody that the restrooms are right outside and to your right. There's male and female right there, so if you need to go. And if you need to get up and go get something to drink, some more coffee or water or whatever, help yourself too. Now, we are going to ask Bob. He's going to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Good morning. Welcome to the second Colorado Senior Lobby Social Summer Social. I hope you go away with some information and knowledge of senior issues, etc. So we will begin by pledge allegiance to the flag. Present arms. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Order, arms. Thank you. You may be seated. Let me turn this back over to Jeanette.
Okay, I cannot stand behind this thing because it's almost as big as me. And so I feel like I can't see anything. So, and also bear with me. I'm one of these people that likes to kind of wander around. So, you know, just bear with us. For one thing, it'll keep your eyes busy. So, anyway, we would specifically like to thank our host, which is Covenant Village of Colorado. This is the second year that they've hosted us, and we really, really appreciate it. It's a great facility for us, and they provide the refreshments and everything. Is Kent here? Come on up. This is Karen Johnson from Covenant Village.
Well, good morning to all of you and to all of you. I thank you so much for coming here. We love to host you. We have great space here. We have great dining services that supports us in whatever we do. And we love to continue having you here. In case you don't know about us, we are a continuing care retirement community, which means that we have residential living, 239 apartment homes. We have assisted living, 41 apartment homes, and we have a 60-bed skilled nursing, which includes rehab and also includes our memory care and long-term care. We are on 27 acres here, so you might expect that, we get our steps in for the day, which is wonderful. And we have been around here for 21 years, but our organization is 131 years old. So we're not a new company, and we have campuses across the U.S. So if you want a tour afterwards, Jill or I will be around to give tours. But thank you so much for coming this morning, and we look forward to hearing all that we're going to learn this morning. Thank you very much.
Okay, good thing we have technology. We have people that know how to do these things. I would like to, before we get started with introducing all of the board members, I understand we have a few of our elected representatives and stuff, so we'd like to have them stand up and to say a couple words if you'd like to. So now's your time.
Well, good morning. I'm State Senator Rachel Zenzinger, and I represent Senate District 19, which you are in right now. So welcome to the district. Senate District 19 is made up of Arvada and Westminster in Jefferson County, and it's a real pleasure to be able to be here today. When I first ran for election to the State Senate, I focused my campaign on the 3 E's: education, the economy, and the elderly. And that really has been a laser-like focus for me in guiding my policy decisions down at the state capitol. We had some great success building on the success of a bill that State Senator Evie Hudak actually passed, which required mandatory reporting of elder abuse. And then I built on that by focusing more specifically on financial fraud and the way that we can better prosecute people who take advantage of our elderly community financially. I'm excited about the upcoming legislative session. Last session, I really enjoyed the support of the senior lobby who came down and testified on one of my bills around housing. And I'm very excited to be able to have that support and to hear your voices and how issues of seniors impacts housing and vice versa. So I'm looking forward to the coming year to try and bring that bill back and focus a little bit more on addressing some of our senior housing issues. So welcome. I'm super glad to be here today, and I hope you have a really great day.
Thank you. Who would like to go next?
Thank you, Jeanette. Good morning. My name is Chris Kennedy. I'm a first-term state representative from Lakewood, and it's been a very exciting year for me, spending some time down at the legislature and seeing how things work down there. I worked on a number of different things this year, but a real focus for me has been the underlying costs of our health care. And it's a challenging problem for us to solve. The more I started digging into these different areas of what's driving these healthcare costs up so quickly, I kept running into these roadblocks of the data's not available, the data's not available. So a bill that I ran this year that was unfortunately not successful had to do with increasing the transparency of our hospital care system, making sure that the hospitals were providing the data to the state so that we could analyze what is driving these costs of care and maybe try to come up with some constructive policy ideas to lower those costs as we move forward. As I said, that initiative was unsuccessful, and we're continuing to have those conversations this summer. One thing that's been kind of exciting, there's been a group meeting for the last 3 years known as the Colorado Commission on Affordable Health Care that was established by the legislature with a broad array of stakeholders across the healthcare space. And over the course of these 3 years, they did an intensive study on a number of cost drivers in our healthcare system and just released their final report at the end of June. So some of my fellow legislators and I organized a presentation from them last week to the entire General Assembly that everyone who was available to attend. And we're starting a process of continuing stakeholder meetings to identify some bills we can run next session that will improve our long-term health care access and drive down costs if we can. I don't know where that's going yet. I think it's best not to say what the policies are before we really build the stakeholder process, but we are going to be working with a lot of folks from across the aisle and across the healthcare space to try to figure out what we can do in the years ahead. So I've been excited to work on that, and I don't know where it's going to go, but I'm going to keep on working hard. And thank you guys all so much for having me this morning.
Thank you.
Good morning. Good morning. I'm Tracy Thorpe, the state representative in House District 29, which is exactly where we are. We're in North and East Arvada in the Jefferson County part of Westminster. And before I speak, we are all posting on Facebook about this event. So if everybody would just do a wave and say hello to the whole world out there. Perfect. And I'll send this to you, Rachel, and to you, Chris, because social media, event doesn't happen unless it's on social media, right? So we'll make sure that it does. So pleased to be here again this year. I'm in my third term, my fifth year, and serve as the chair of the Business Affairs and Labor Committee. But most likely how you know me is last year I was the sponsor of a bill called Don't Tax Grandma's Meatloaf. Anyone familiar with that? It was a bill I did last year that said that the food that is served in facilities like Covenant Village will not be taxed, that this is someone's home, and we don't tax food when you eat in someone's home. So we're not going to tax Grandma's meatloaf. So that bill went through, great success in the legislature, and very important because it's very important that we are recognizing that when folks are here at Covenant Village and other facilities, this is their home, and we need to be able to respect that. Have really appreciated working with you all, and we'll appreciate working with you all again this next year. Thank you.
Thank you. Is anybody else here? Do we have any other elected officials, mayors, county commissioners, city council? Okay. Oh. Candidates? Is that what you said? We do have Lotta from the DU. There, why don't you come on up and say a few words? She's with the DU, the Institute for Healthy Aging.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for inviting me and having me speak. Just a couple of words. We have a new institute on the DU campus. We are in the top floor of the engineering building, so you can imagine the kind of stuff we could do with the 4 floors of engineers. So we work on everything from elder abuse to movement disorders, dementia, and also healthy aging. We have research programs and community outreach programs on healthy aging and many different diseases related to aging. The students, you might think, are not interested in aging, but they are. They have formed a new intergenerational club, so they're doing projects like playing croquet, they're doing projects like art projects with people with dementia and so on, and we will actually have an event that we hope goes into the Guinness Book of Record, where we're going to have a croquet game. You're all invited on September 21. The first team is a 2-year-old and a 102-year-old. Yes. You think that's a record? I think so. So I just wanted to say thank you. Great to be here. And everyone, welcome to the campus.
Thank you. Okay, so as we start on with the rest of our meeting, we'd like to be able to have an introductions to each of our board members. So if I can have each of them kind of come up, or I'll actually stand up and say who they are and if they represent a specific agency.
Hi everyone, my name is Kelsey Lesko. I'm a prospective board member. I'm an elder law attorney with Disability Law Colorado. And I just want to thank everyone for coming out here and at least getting the information and learning a little bit more. This is such an important issue that I'm just thrilled to be here and thrilled that this organization exists.
Good morning. My name's Christina Johnson, and I've been a board member for about a year. I'm also on the Colorado Commission on Aging.
Hi, everybody. My name is Diane Martini, and I am a prospective board member. Hopefully, I'll be voted in this afternoon. I am the Director of Marketing at a retirement community. It's called the Eastern Star Masonic Retirement Community. I'm very excited. Thank you.
And again, I'm Jeanette Hensley. I'm the Treasurer of Colorado Senior Lobby, and I am also a former Director for Aging and Adult Services for the state of Colorado.
Yeah, I'm Ed Shackelford, the president of the organization, and glad to see as many people here as we have. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Kai Agnew, and I'm with PASCO, Personal Assistance Services of Colorado, and I'm also a gerontologist.
Good morning again. I'm Bob Epstein. I chair the Colorado Senior Lobby and also represent the Governor's Advisory Council for Persons with Disability and a few other senior organizations. I don't want to take your time, but it'll be a long one.
Hi, my name is Bob Brocker. I'm a prospective board member. I've been involved with senior-related issues for about 7 years with a little help. Some of you may be familiar with that organization. And started working with the senior lobby back in January. I've been to a few meetings down at the State House. I recognized a few of our representatives here from committee meetings and so forth. So happy to be here, and thank you all for coming.
Hello, my name's Kip Bishop. I represent, I'm on the board of directors for the senior lobby. I also have a company called Senior Mortgage Solutions, where we work with seniors to keep them in their homes using reverse mortgages as the vehicle. I also serve on the Arapahoe County Adult Protective Services team doing reviews for financial abuse.
Good morning. My name is Kelly Horton. I'm the founder and director of Dementia Connection Coalition. I also am on the board with Colorado Senior Lobby, the board of Adult Protective Services for Arapahoe County, and I do first responder trainings throughout the state in dementia approaches and redirection, and am a full-time student on top of that.
And my name is Rich Morrow. I'm been on the Senior Lobby Board for a few years now, and I work as the legislative and policy person at the Denver Regional Council of Governments, and I hate to admit this, but it's been 30 years now. So obviously I enjoy doing this work, and I'm glad to be here today with everybody else.
Hi, I'm Harvey Mcquirter. I'm a board member, and I represent 50+ Media Solutions, 50+ Marketplace News, the newspaper. And it's gas to see everyone here, and I hope you get a lot of information out of today.
Thank you. And we also have Corinne Hall. You want to raise your hand? She's actually in the sound booth working on, because we're recording this. So hopefully you all will be able to see this on our website. So thank you all of the board members and prospective board members. So we just want to thank our primary event sponsors, Covenant Village, Eastern Star Masonic, Ollinger, and PASCO, Personal Assistance Services of Colorado. So now I'd like to turn this over to Ed, and he will be doing the Serving Our Seniors Award. Okay. Then we will have Diane.
Hi, everybody. Our next presentation is our Serving Our Seniors Award, and it's awarded to a citizen. And unfortunately, the gal who is going to be receiving this had a medical event last night, and so she is not able to attend. But that's okay. We'll honor her anyway. So her name is Jill Grano. And what she discovered is that there were a lot of people living in mobile homes who were losing their mobile homes, and she couldn't figure out why. And the reason why was because they were losing their homes over very small unpaid taxes. A lot of these people were low-income people, and they just couldn't swing it. She thought that was very wrong, and so she started doing research into mobile home parks. And so what was happening is if the people didn't pay their taxes within a year, a lien is created. And then the lien is sold to investors at an auction. And then within 1 year after the lien sale, the lien owner then can take over that property. And this is a lot of seniors who were losing their homes over very small unpaid taxes. She also discovered that some of the titles were not being properly transferred on these mobile homes, and so people were losing their homes that way too. So because of that, Jill worked with the state representatives and legislature, and she introduced a bill which then passed. And so that bill now protects mobile home owners from this very small type of tax liability. So we really want to honor Jill in her effort to get this passed and to protect our seniors. So even though she isn't here, let's give her a hand.
Yeah, I did want to say just a brief comment on Jill. She's really an example of what we're all about, which is citizens going down to the Capitol and making things happen. Unpaid people that step up and do that. The mobile homes were particularly unique because of the way they're taxed. Some of them are taxed as vehicles and some are taxed as property tax. These people didn't know they owned a property tax. So for a very small amount of money, $100, $200, $300, these people would get control of those mobile homes. Then they would go knock on the door once they had title transferred and sell it back to them for like $10,000. Or even in victims. So it was a really, really bad situation. And Jill's testimony alone at the Capitol would have made it made the bill pass, and it passed with a high percentage of the whole legislature. So she's really done a very, very special thing. So at any rate, we hope that she may be here around noon at the last, but we're not counting on it. So anyway, I just wanted to make that comment.
Thank you, Ed. Now, actually, we'd like to go into our Governance Award, and we're asking Kip Bishop to go ahead and present that.
Good morning. To introduce myself again, my name's Kip Bishop. I have the distinct honor to present the Governance Award for Bipartisan Leadership. This year, we're honoring 4 legislators, 2 Republicans and 2 Democrats, for their dedication and bipartisan commitment to the legislative process. In every legislative session, there's a lot of talk about partisanship, that Democrats and Republicans can't or won't work together to get anything done. I would have to say yes, there are examples of democratically controlled House members killing bills from the Republican-controlled Senate and vice versa. But every year, dozens of bills make it through the long process and find their way to the governor's desk with a bipartisan support. This particular legislation that we're talking about from this last year, Senate Bill 17267, titled Concerning the Sustainability of Rural Colorado, was complex, but it was all about saving rural hospitals. The legislative process was messy, it was contentious, but we can all be proud of the dedication of those legislators who worked so hard to successfully guide this legislation through the process. While not a perfect solution, the legislation and these legislators, led by today's legislative honorees, worked tirelessly to find common ground and a solution that might work. Today, we are privileged to recognize these four legislators: Senator Jerry Sonnenberg, Senator Lucia Guzman, Representatives John Becker, and Representative KC Becker. Now, this being a Friday, many of them are traveling to and from locations, and so they were unable to be with us this morning. KC Becker, I understand, was scheduled to be here, and I believe will show up. But in any case, I think we owe them a round of applause and recognition for the hard work that they put in. And let me also say, being a legislator can also be a very thankless job, having to answer to all the other special interest groups. So if I may, please give them a round of applause and recognition for their hard work.
Thank you, Kip. And we will actually, when they show up, we will stop and again give the quick award to them, so that way we can all clap and give them a round of applause again. So I know we do have a couple former legislators here. We have Evie Hudak and Jim Reesberg. I don't know if you guys want to just stand up and wave so that people know who you are. And they both have been champions for aging issues as well. So we just want to make sure that even though they may not be in the legislature right now, they are still fighting for us, for all seniors, and working on very important issues for us. So, okay, so we are a little ahead of schedule right now. So, but I think what I'd like to be able to do is ask Ed if he would go ahead and give his message to the Colorado Senior Lobby.
We're going to have a couple of 3 slides, and I'll need to get the information which Corinne will be working on. This is a year of real change for us. We became significantly more aggressive this year. We've come to recognize that of all the people and all the groups, the seniors will probably have as little recognition at the Capitol as any group. And that's kind of amazing thing, because the seniors had the biggest impact on the budget in the next, all the way up to 2050. The budget impact is enormous, and I'll show you one statistic on that. So at any rate, what we've done is we meet every Monday morning when the legislature's in session, and we meet basically every other Monday in the summer, although it skips a little bit because there's several holidays in that time frame. Those are very active meetings, a lot of opinions expressed, and anyone can come. You know, there's nothing closed about any of our discussions. we encourage anyone that wants to say anything and has any opinion to come. You can go to our webpage and see exactly when the schedules are and exactly where they're located. They're basically at Sherman and Spear is basically where we're located. We also felt we had some important legislation passed this year, and Jeanette's going to go through through that part of the program maybe and give you a little more detail on that, so I'll pass over that. We significantly increased our presence at the Capitol. We were down there basically all day on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and Wednesdays when necessary. Mondays and Fridays are not so active at the committees and so forth, and spend a lot of time interfacing with the legislators and being just basically showing our presence and testifying on a significant number of bills. And again, Jeanette will probably give you a rundown on that. Our membership 3 years ago was about a little under 100 people. Today it's about 500. So we think we're becoming we think that's important. And we hope to continue building that. Our goal is into the thousands. Our web page is significantly enhanced, and it is a very powerful web page. Keep in mind, we're an organization that has almost no funding. So to have a web page this good is we can really be proud of it. And Corinne, who's back there in the pink or orange, whatever color that is our webmaster and does the design on that. And you can go to that web page and see what events are happening. You can also go to that web page and see exactly what bills we're considering and what our positions are on those bills. So I would really encourage you to do that. You can also dial in on Monday mornings, and that information's on the web page also. You can also dial in on Monday mornings and listen to our meetings. And so you can listen and also speak up. So we're really working hard to get people involved. We do get some people from all over the state. We have people from the western slope and out on the eastern slope and sometimes down the Arkansas Valley. We also are putting out an e-newsletter, and for those people that haven't gotten one, if you signed up on all those people that were going around getting signatures, you will be getting the e-newsletters we put out. So anyway, we think we've significantly increased our effect. We're also, this is really something we're going to take up at our annual meeting, which is what we have at the end. But we're also in the process of organizing a C3, which has significant tax differences than the C4 that we are now. So at any rate, those are the things that we're working on this last year, and we think that it's a real progress, and it's something we can build on because that's not good enough. But we think it's better than it has been, and next year will be even better. One of the things we're looking to do is to position ourselves, because we're so active at the Capitol, and really the primary people speaking for seniors on many issues. We're looking for outreach from all the other senior organizations that are doing different things and coordinating with us so that we can help them be at the Capitol making their positions known. We also will do that to individuals. We will teach anyone that has an interest, we'll teach you how to go to the state and testify. And the first time is kind of overwhelming, but once you've testified once, it's a very routine process. And one of the things that I've always been admired is that in the committee hearings, whoever is speaking gets treated with total respect. And particularly for those people that are nervous and uncomfortable, there's no talking down to the people. There's just, it's just an example of how you can really treat people well. We also spend time in the summer, and we are looking at our meetings where we discuss things. We have people come in and talk about things, and we also then work and go to. The legislation is being formed in the summer. You know, the summer's when it's the most important, really, because there's a lot of meetings going on, and you heard Representative Kennedy talk about that on health. This is when the legislation is being fomented. If you want to get your opinions in, now is the time, between now and November 1. That's when you really can have an impact. And we work hard on that time. This is really a very important time for us. In your packet is the schedule summarizing the demographics. And you really should look at that and understand what's happening. We'll have a slide in a minute here to show you, but it's kind of overwhelming when you see what's coming. And I don't see enough attention being given at the legislature for this. We basically consider we have an interactive membership. You know, we want everyone to feel free and to interact at any time. So, and as I said, I just want to repeat this. We're really an open group. I know some people, when they meet for their legislative discussions, do it behind closed doors, but that's not our style. Anyone is there, and anyone can give their opinions. And any member, which is a lot of people now, can actually vote on whether we want to support or oppose something. With that, I had a few slides. Are we set up to do that? This is what's going to happen. And I look at the over 80 because that's when you really start needing services. 15 years, it goes up 109%. There's no possible scenario that increases the funding basically at all, other than a small amount through the taper formula. So this means no matter what you think, no matter what you want to do, you better be figuring a way to take care of twice the people for the same amount of money. Just think about that. You know, too much attention, this is my opinion, too much attention is given to just making life better for seniors, and not enough attention is given to the real impact of coming. You know, if we come up with all these programs helping seniors, but there's no funding, so they're just not sustainable over time. So if nothing else, fix that in your mind. Just push this. Oh, yeah, next slide. Okay, Kip talked about Senate Bill 267, and I want you to look at this chart and think about it. If you're out on the side over there, on the red area, you're going to not have sustainable legislation. You may get it through the legislature, but it's not going to be sustainable over time. If you're out there on the blue area, you're also not going to be sustainable. And you can see that happening in different places. And then if you look at where the red and blue intersect, those were probably sustainable because that's where the votes are coming out of the legislature. But if you can then move up into that purple area where you get the independents really buying into it, that's where you need to be. And if you're going to have anything that lasts over time, you've got to get to that sweet spot. And that's called governance. And governance is what we expect from our legislators. We do not expect ideology, we expect governance. And without wanting to appear partisan at all, the classic example of an absolute failure of governance was the handling at the federal level of the repeal of the Affordable Care Act. That was absolutely the disaster of all disasters. And as a country, we cannot survive with that kind of performance. So at any rate, 267 did this. They got the red and the blue together and some arm twisting and some different things, and probably the independents would be there. So they're either in the overlap of the red and the blue, or they may be even pushed up into the independent side. That's why we elected to honor the people that made this happen this year. And this is just really important thing. Let's go to the next one. Let's go one more. Okay, this one I wanted to, oh, here we go. I just want to show you, just as an example of why our healthcare is so screwed up. I'm a proud possessor of a new knee a month ago. And it cost me $500, although between my wife and I, we pay $5,000 a year to Kaiser. Kaiser paid $15,000 for the hospital, and then they're people on salary, so I don't know the surgeon side of that. But if you didn't have insurance, and figure that the people without insurance are probably not the wealthier people, but probably the people living day to day, they would pay $75,000. Now, there's no way anyone can say that that's a fair way to run a healthcare system. It actually came home to me because I got you may not believe it, but I did get my hair cut a couple of days ago. And the lady that cut my hair had developed cancer and had lost her house of 18 years paying for the medical bills. This is just one example. It just happened to be one that was relevant to my situation right now. But you can just see that things are simply not right in our health, the way we're doing health care. And so at any rate, then let's go on to the next one. This is kind of what happens at the legislature. There is a requirement that every bill has to go to a committee for a hearing. But here's how some bills that would easily, or at least would be able to pass if they ever made it to the floor, they can control that. And both the parties do it, so it's not one party or the other. They have what I call the ideology committee. It's usually referred to as the kill committee. And they assign bills to that committee if they really don't want to take votes on them on the floor, or a small group of people can control what goes through and what doesn't. So this is how the legislators and the leadership in them control what really gets there. So you start with a bill, then they put a stop on the bill by sending it to the kill committee. And it's always kind of sad because these people come into the kill committee with important bills, make these very well thought out presentations, and then they're just voted no. So anyway, I just thought it was important to understand, to get a better fix of what goes on down at the legislature. So with that, I would take any questions if anyone has any questions or any thoughts. Anyone want to give their opinion? Surely someone here wants, this is a political party, surely someone wants to give an opinion. Yeah. You probably don't need a microphone.
I'll be brief. You have one of the most tremendous resources before you today, which is an organization that is tuned into your issues, that will actually take the time to train you about how to be a citizen lobbyist. And so I really encourage you to take advantage of it. I've heard many people say, I'm not an expert, I don't know, the Capitol seems really intimidating, they don't really care what I have to say, why should I do it? And I will tell you that it does matter. You are an expert, and we do need to hear your perspective. If legislators cannot hear from the very people in which the legislation will impact, we have no way of knowing if it is good legislation or bad legislation. And we can always improve legislation as well. So sometimes you think that the committee, these committees, the Kill committees, have already decided and they've already determined what the outcome of the bill is going to be. But that's okay. You still need to go and you still need to make your voice heard so that these decisions do not occur in a vacuum, so that these decisions occur within context. And sometimes they do make it through. And often it's because of what we heard during testimony. So it is critical that you continue to come down to the Capitol and that you participate. And even if you're nervous, even if you think that you're not the best person to do it anyway. It's only 3 minutes. You can write out your testimony beforehand, walk up there and just read your testimony. You don't even have to look up if you don't want to. But really, truly lead with your experience and tell us from your perspective. Otherwise, we cannot make good decisions down at the Capitol. So please take advantage of it. And I want to say thank you so much for what your organization does by being a part of the conversation.
I wanted to follow up on that. It's difficult to change the committee votes. They've already researched it and have a pretty good idea of how they're going to vote. The most powerful way I've seen their votes change is from an individual. An individual speaking of their own personal story. It's not me and it's not Jeanette, it's the individual that comes in and says, here's how this is really affecting me as an individual. And I'm just like one broken arm. One of them I saw was, I'm just one broken arm away from filing bankruptcy. That was when they were expanding the Medicaid. Haven't always stuck with me, and that turned the vote around. So Jill, the one we were honoring, her, whatever they were going to vote before, once she had testified, there was no way they would vote against that bill. So it's really important. You really can make it happen if you can speak from the heart or know people that can, And like I said, if you want to come down and speak, we'll be glad to meet you there, help you test, whatever we can do in that regard. So anyone else have a comment? Surely someone wants to. A political meeting and no one wants to. Surely someone has passion out there.
Thank you, Ed, and thank you, Rachel Zinziger. Thank you. We're going to take a quick break, and then when we come back, I'm going to talk to you about being a citizen lobbyist, how to do it, what it all entails, and the trainings that we do to be able to work with everybody. So take a 10-minute break to go ahead and use the restrooms again. They're just right outside to the right side. Get yourself some more coffee and some water, and then we'll be back on with the program, okay? Thanks.